From Touchstone Pictures. 'Twas the night before Christmas, but in the land of Halloween, it was decided that this year something new would be seen.
Whoa. Surprised, aren't you?
From Tim Burton, director of Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands, comes a motion picture experience unlike any other. Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
And what did Santa bring you, honey?
Rated PG. Coming this month to a theater near you.
Hello, tender lumplings everywhere, and welcome to Cinemarcade. This is the podcast about movies, video games, and the sparks that fly when those worlds collide. I am Bone Daddy Steve Guntley. Very excited to have you all here to talk about Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas. And who are the two nightmares who are here with me today?
Wow, that's pretty fucking rude.
It's a compliment in this backwards world of this movie. Yeah,
I think I'm
scary
pleasant.
things are good.
Are you a little Christmas baby?
Am I a little... What? That may be a reference I do not get.
I don't know.
Well, I think we were saying you're pleasant. You're implying that you're a member of Christmas Town versus Halloween Town.
Oh, yeah, you're one of the weird baby elves. Yeah.
I think you're a baby elf.
I think I'd rather be one of the
A hot
freakos.
chocolate drinking baby elf.
I do love me some hot chocolate.
That's true. What's your name?
I was gonna lie.
Why are you
Justin?
lying? People know you're on this show. You've been on it for a while now.
I
Yeah.
almost made up a name.
Who else is here today?
I am one of the I'm one of the vampire brothers.
That was a good correction.
I'm
We would have kicked you off if you had said the W's. Yeah, if you'd fully failed to commit to that bit, we would have thrown you out. Welcome, everybody. As you may be able to tell, we're a little slap happy tonight. It's a later night recording. We've all had a long day, a long week, a long life in my case. But I'm excited to be here talking about this one.
You're still very young.
It does not feel like it. Oh, my God.
You have probably 50 more years.
I probably have 5 more minutes.
Well, shit, we better get this over with.
Who's going to edit the podcasts when you're gone?
Hey, I don't do that much. Y'all can figure it out. But I'm excited to be here either way. I may not say we may be a little slap happy, but do not let that diminish my enthusiasm for our subject today. The film A Nightmare Before Christmas. Among the movies I've probably seen the most in my life.
Yeah, I've seen this movie so many times.
I have a hard time quantifying exactly, but I've definitely watched it like every Christmas since it came out. So that's 32 years right there. And when I was a kid and I owned very few like VHS tapes, this was one that was on circulation all the time.
I would say I probably watched it twice as much because I usually watch it Halloween and Christmas. I usually get 2 viewings in a year minimum.
That's how they get you. That's this movie's kind of secret sauce, is that it is not just a Christmas movie and it's not just a Halloween movie. It is just kind of spanning all of autumn. You can kind of watch it at any time and it's seasonally appropriate.
Though it is like fuck Thanksgiving. Like,
Thanksgiving.
Reference a turkey on a tree.
What do you think happens in the Thanksgiving tree? Like, what do you think happens in there? Is it just a bunch of turkeys being massacred?
No, people making pies.
Okay, all right.
Like,
are they all pilgrims in there, you think?
No, I don't think they have pilgrims.
Yeah, what's their decor? These are the questions that I've always wanted answered.
No. I've always wondered whether or not there was fucking in Valentine's Day.
Yeah, Valentine's tree is just an orgy. Yeah. They're just, everybody's getting down all the time. Justin, what's your relationship with this movie? Have you seen it as often as us aging millennials have?
I have seen this movie exactly twice.
Okay.
The first time was with a shitty ex. And then it was one of her favorite movies, and so I never watched it again.
Okay, all right.
Because I was like, it's just that level of like, not that I didn't want to watch it, but that it was just like
painful memories.
Not even painful memories, but just like I didn't have enthusiasm to watch it.
Fair.
So it was like, I wouldn't avoid it, but if somebody had been like, "Oh, let's watch this," I would have done it. I just never would have.
When you were first watching it, were you already on the rocks with this person when you were sitting down to cuddle up and to watch this movie? Were you already like disgruntled, like fuck this person?
I think that was the second time we dated, and yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think I was disgruntled most of that relationship, to be honest.
So I'm going to go out on a limb and say you never really had like a Hot Topic goth phase.
No, because that was her.
That was her. Okay.
And so it's interesting.
You had a goth girl face.
Yeah. Look, been
never
there,
really
my man.
ended.
Been there, my man.
Which is interesting.
I've also been there.
You've been there. I know. Yeah. Oh, I can absolutely see you being a Hot Topic kid. Yeah.
No. I was crazy about this girl.
Oh, yeah.
Who was a super, super goth and like really into this. I was crazy about her.
Something about like just us. I think it's just the fact that we're all so opposite that in our decor and our manner. There's something appealing about that whole vibe.
The things that of the three things that I could probably pull out that she loved the most was Hot Topic, Tim Burton, and Panic at the Disco.
Big crossover there. Yeah, that's a Venn diagram that's just a circle. Yeah,
and so those were all three things that I just didn't really care about afterwards. I was like, oh, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this movie, I was 10 when this came out, and so like
it was negative 2.
Yeah, I hate that. And this just kind of like. I don't know. I think this felt so different from every other animated movie at the time. This felt a little dangerous. It felt a little different, a little weird, and it just kind of... this is definitely one of those movies that sort of opened up my mind about what animation could be and helped me kind of explore beyond just like the main Disney realm, you know?
Yeah, and I was goth adjacent. I wouldn't say I was a goth, but I wore black lipstick and had snakeskin pleather pants.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. I never fully committed. I had my metalhead phase. I had a lot of like graphic T-shirts, but I think I had maybe a week when I was painting my nails black. But that's about as far as I ever went. I never fully committed to the look.
I think I've ever worn leather.
I think the goth thing is really funny because we talk, like maybe you and I, Steve, aren't goths, but we both committed heavily to the horror genre.
And the other thing too is we're theater kids.
Yes.
So goth is just like theater kids that have been like let out into the world. You know, the world is their stage, and they've got this performative ennui that they need to kind of get out there. So obviously that's going to appeal to us because we were in Godspell. But yeah, this movie definitely struck a chord for a lot of people. Let's learn a little bit about it because it has a very dramatic development history. A Nightmare Before Christmas was released October 29th, 1993. It's directed by Henry Selick, written by Carolyn Thompson, and it stars Chris Sarandon, Catherine O'Hara, William Hickey, Ken Page, Glenn Shaddix, Paul Rubens, Ed Ivory, and Danny Elfman. So let's get this one out of the way really quickly. This is going to help you all immeasurably for trivia nights in the future and just, to ease my own pedantic film nerd mind. Tim Burton did not direct this movie.
So I still think you can call it Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas because he is the creator. He created the source artwork.
The way that Henry
worked really hard on it.
Yeah.
And he was the director for 3 years, but the source material did come from Tim Burton.
The way that Henry Selick puts it is he says, and this is a quote, he says, "This is Tim's egg. I just hatched it." So I think that's a good way of putting it.
I think it's a good way of putting it, but I also think we can't. I feel like.
Does that mean he's mom?
He's mom. Yeah.
I feel like I think Tim Burton, this is something that you've seen with some of his work is that he didn't have the patience and for a creation like this.
No.
And this creation took a lot of love, care, long nights, 3 long production years, and so Selick is the creator of it. Or is the director of it,
executor of it. Yeah.
But yeah, I love looking at the original artwork that Tim Burton did. It's very similar to what the end product is. So I do feel like it's his idea, but the screenwriter, and honestly, I feel like the sleeper hit to this success is not the aesthetic, but it's the music. Danny Elfman.
I'm gonna have a lot to say on that. To give a little background on this, we've talked about Tim Burton once before when we did our Beetlejuice episode. Weirdly, he's going to come up a lot on our show. There are a lot of Tim Burton video games. But he was, a artsy, weird kid who grew up in Burbank in Southern California in the suburbs. He went to CalArts, which was like the most prestigious animation school. That's where he became friends with Henry Selick, who was really fascinated with stop motion animation. Now, Tim Burton's done a little bit of that. Like his first short film is called Vincent. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's awesome. But it's a stop motion animated film about a little boy who's obsessed with Vincent Price. And it's narrated by Vincent Price, and it rules. But I think you're exactly right. You're like, Tim Burton does not really have the patience for this kind of animation, and I genuinely do not blame anybody who doesn't have the patience for stop motion animation. It takes a very specific personality type to really be good at this kind of animation. This is unbelievably painstaking, thought out, planned out. Like everything needs to be so locked, like completely before you get started. I mean, animation's like that in general, but stop motion in particular, because sometimes you'll spend an entire week like animating 10 seconds of footage, like if you're lucky. Like it's really intense.
There's no keyframes. How am I supposed to animate this?
Exactly. So Tim Burton came up with the idea for this movie back in 1982 when he was bored working as a Disney animator on The Fox and the Hound and other movies like that. So he came up with this idea. He really liked he grew up like obsessed with holidays, and specifically kind of like the plastic, like cornball store-bought holidays that he grew up with in the 1950s suburbs, right? So he has a very specific look. If you think of like Edward Scissorhands, like the neighborhood and that, how it's this very kind of carbon copy neighborhood. That's sort of what he grew up in. And so he's like fascinated by the banal decorations of this. So he liked he used his art style, which is very, very distinctive, and he combined like Halloween stories with Christmas stories. And he tried to get this made for a couple of years. At one point, it was going to be a short film. At another point, it was going to be a made-for-TV movie on the Disney Channel. But neither of those happened, and it just kind of like got put on the back burner. Then 1985 comes around, and Tim Burton becomes a huge deal because Pee-wee's Big Adventure is a surprise hit. His follow-up film is Beetlejuice. It's even bigger. And then in 1989, he directs Batman, which becomes one of the highest-grossing films of all time. Massive, massive hit. Suddenly, he's got the keys to the kingdom. He can do anything he wants, and he decides he wants to finally get this movie made with Disney. So he hired on Henry Selick to be his director. They were old buddies from CalArts, and the one caveat that Disney had was that they had to rebrand the movie and name it Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas, because he was in a rare position of being like a name director, like a director that like average, like non-cineast, like non-psycho nerds like us would know. Like it was Spielberg and Tim Burton, maybe Martin Scorsese. Like there's only a handful of them at the time. So like it was a big deal. And I think they're both pretty conflicted about this because Henry Selick obviously gets frustrated by the fact that people don't think he worked on this movie, or that they think that Tim Burton did this whole movie by himself. And I think Tim Burton feels a little bad because, it was his idea, but throughout the 3 years it took to make this movie, 18 months of pre-production, 18 months of production, he only was in the studio like maybe 5-6 days. Like Henry Selick said, he was very hands-off and very supportive of what they wanted to do, but he was, he wasn't around. But yes, so you mentioned the music, and I think that's where we need to circle back to this because holy shit, Danny Elfman's score. Somebody let that man cook on this thing. And this is maybe the best showcase of his particular talents.
Well, and it's funny because he said that this was like one of the easiest things he's ever done.
He said, just like kind of flowed out of him. So he and Tim Burton have been buddies since back in the early days. Now, Danny Elfman, for those who don't really know much about his history, he started an artist collective with his brother Richard in Wisconsin, I believe, in the 70s, and they were called the Knights of the Oingo Boingo. And then that transformed into the band Oingo Boingo, which Danny Elfman was the lead singer of. And when they had a couple of like hits in the 80s, and they were sort of, But by 1985, he wanted to transition over to film composing. He knocked it right the hell out of the park with Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which is still a fantastic score, really quirky, really suits that movie well. And then he and Tim Burton like worked together on almost every movie since then. But this is where it really kind of came together for him. Originally, this was not going to be a musical. The writer, who was a guy named Michael McDowell, he was working on the story, but he didn't really have anything. Then they pitched it to Danny Elfman, who said maybe this can be a musical. He wrote up 11 songs. So like you said, it was very quick for him. He had a really great time putting these out. They gave the songs to Michael McDowell to write it up. And according to the subsequent screenwriter, Carolyn Thompson, he basically just rewrote the lyrics of the songs into a script format and turned that in.
Which I think is fair. Because the lyrics do tell the story.
Look, it's kind of like a soft opera in a way. Like, I think you could do this movie like entirely musically, but
there's so little actual dialogue outside of the music,
and that's the thing. Like, what Michael McDowell turned in was not usable, and apparently he had a pretty severe drug problem at the time. So they fired him off the project. They brought in Carolyn Thompson. Now, she had written Edward Scissorhands, and she was dating Danny Elfman at the time, so she was very much in the circle with these two. But she said she didn't really do much to the script. She said basically she gave it a little structure, and her biggest contribution was writing out the character of Sally and kind of like giving her more of an arc and a little more substance. But like you said, it's very quiet. It's not quiet, but it's like there's not a lot of dialogue in these movies. So I think she polished it up a little bit, but she had numerous like really nasty run-ins with both Henry Selick and Tim Burton, who are both very demanding personalities, and they both had very specific ideas of what they wanted. Allegedly, at some point, she suggested re-editing the ending, and so Tim Burton smashed the editing machine into pieces with a hammer to prevent anybody from doing that, which does not seem reasonable. But you could also understand if maybe he's a little stressed, because while this movie was going on, he's directing both Batman Returns and Ed Wood at the same time, which has got to be taking a toll.
I wonder how much truth that is, because like I just don't see like smashing an editing machine is like such diva move, and I haven't heard that many diva moves from like, and again, everyone can have a bad day.
Yeah.
But like
I think he had kind of a reputation of like a little bit of a hothead when he was younger, and he seems to have mellowed out a lot. But it takes a lot to have like a very specific vision the way that Tim Burton does.
I'm super curious what she wanted as the ending. Like,
I'm curious about that too. Yeah, I have no idea what it was supposed to be. But yeah, it took so long to make this movie. The animators built more than 227 models. Jack himself has 400 different heads to capture his facial expressions. And they're using like these ball and socket armature, like wireframe armatures for some of them. And like every puppet looks dramatically different, so they have different methods for crafting all of these. Tim Burton's designs are so kind of insane and out there, like it takes a little bit of adjusting to like transfer these into like a 3D setting. So it took a really, really long time. When the movie finally came out, Disney got cold feet about it because they thought it was too dark and too scary, so they decided not to release it under the Walt Disney label. They released it under their Touchstone label. So this put this movie kind of in like a weird like forgotten stepchild kind of position with the rest of the Disney universe.
That has changed.
That has changed because, this movie did pretty well when it came out. It wasn't like a barn burner or anything, but it made its money back and critics really liked it.
And it burned up VHS.
That's the thing. VHS became a huge thing for it.
Marketing, like toys, merchandise.
That was kind of a slower roll. I think it took like our generation kind of coming of a spending age for this really to take off in the way that it did. I think this is now one of Disney's most valuable properties just because, the brilliant move of like, this is a Halloween movie and this is a Christmas movie. You can get your decorations and put them out in front of your house and like, you don't need to move them for 3 months, Like you're dipping into the till twice, and it's pretty smart.
Now that's my kind of decorating.
Exactly. But we talk a lot about Hot Topic. This became like such a staple in Hot Topic, and as that was becoming more popular into the early 2000s, like this movie really, really blew up, and I think it's now looked at as just kind of like a perennial holiday favorite. Like I watch it every year, like it's It's 80 minutes long. It goes down real smooth, and it's got some great music in it, And
Justin,
Yeah.
what do you actually think of this movie?
I thought it was okay. I will preface this by saying I'm not really a holiday movie person.
sure. You're in for a rough month on this show.
I know. I have seen a good many holiday movies. I don't like most of them. I think it's fun. It has some good whimsy. The songs are good. I think, honestly, that was the thing that kept distracting me the most was the songs.
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
is a good call on them to focus on the songs.
One of the so like I said, like Danny Elfman and Tim Burton had kind of a contentious friendship, like still to this day, like they're kind of up and down a lot, but they had a falling out over this movie because Danny Elfman wanted to do all of the Jack Skellington voices. Like he wanted to do the singing and he wanted to do the dialogue, and they decided that they needed to hire an actor to come in and do the dialogue, and he got pretty upset about that apparently because he is the singing voice and he has a gorgeous singing voice, like really, really beautiful, distinctive
do that
voice.
often for films?
Not
I was
very
perusing through his filmography, and it looks like most of the time it's a no.
It usually is just the composer, and he's a really good one. He did the Batman theme, he did the Spider-Man theme, he did like not Harry Potter, The Simpsons. Like he's an incredible composer,
And, like, he's definitely been around and done a bunch of stuff. But
and he
like,
sang with Oingo Boingo. I know he sings a little bit in The Corpse Bride.
that was like the one that I saw that looked like, yeah, he was
Yeah.
credited as like a character. But otherwise, it's like if you look through his like appearances in Wikipedia, it's just like a bunch of like live reproductions.
Yeah.
And so obviously he's going to reprise his role.
Yeah, yeah.
But not a lot of singing in movies.
No, which is a shame. Yeah, he's got a gorgeous voice, and I think he would have been good playing the entire thing, like because they brought in Chris
know.
Sarandon, who I really like.
I do think there's value in having voice actors do voice acting.
Yeah. No, it's totally fair, and I don't know if he was good or what. I don't know what the decision was behind it, but I like Chris Sarandon a lot. He's Prince Humperdinck in Princess Bride. He was the male lead of Child's Play. He's in Fright Night. He's in Dog Day Afternoon. He's got a great career.
I haven't seen any of these movies.
Oh man, every one of them a banger. No, you've seen Child's Play. We watched Child's Play with
Which
you.
one's Child's Play?
That's Chucky.
Oh, Chucky!
Yeah, it's the first Chucky movie. He's the cop in Chucky. Yeah. So yeah, and yeah,
Have we done Chucky?
not for the show, but we made Justin watch Chucky one time.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Because I was about to say, I was like, I don't remember that at all.
No,
I
I don't think
do
there is a
wanna
Chucky
see.
game. No, I don't think there is one.
So I love this movie.
Yes.
I like not just because I've watched it 60 times. I love this movie around Christmas time. I
contributing
listen. What?
That might be a contributing factor.
No, because like for holiday, like I'm not. What's the word? I'm not proud, but I do admit that I am a sucker for holiday movies and holiday themed movies,
Sure.
even if they suck.
I'm the same. Ask me how many times I've seen Jingle All the Way. Yeah.
What?
Like I will even watch a Hallmark I will watch 2 or 3 per season.
That's
and
kind of a bridge too far for me.
like
yeah.
I was in a sketch group and we wrote a whole Hallmark holiday parody.
Right.
And so that was really fun. So that's what really sort of got me. I started watching them during that, and I'll just like throw them on, and there's definitely varying qualities, and some of them aren't Hallmark. So I like the Netflix version of Hallmark ones because they have gay people.
Mm-hmm.
We can't have that on Hallmark.
and Hot Frosties.
And Hot Frosties.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Oh my
Hot
God, I
Frosty
forgot
was
about
so
that.
good.
Is it good?
No, it's not.
Oh.
But it's so good because like this man is running around topless in snow. So it's just like and it's very stupid. So like, but I like holiday But for me, it takes a lot for a holiday movie to be on rotation.
Yeah.
And to be on a yearly rotation. And this movie has earned its rotation on like for a number of different reasons. And like one of the things that Tim Burton said that he really valued, like when he was obsessed with holidays, is the feeling that you get at holidays.
Yeah.
And this movie encapsulates both Halloween and Christmas at the same time, and that magical feeling you get for both holidays, which is two violently different tones,
Which
and
is
it
also-
manages to do it in one movie.
Yeah, and it's also kind of capturing the sense of like the characters in this literally only live for these holidays. There's Christmas people who live for Christmas and Halloween people who live for Halloween, and like when you're a little kid and you can't wait for that holiday, that's kind of how it feels, you know? So it captures that sense.
Well, and the Halloween town is so lived in.
It is.
Like the people, and like it's like I wish I could show Halloween Town to beginner improvisers.
Oh, yeah.
When you show how positive you can be in a negative situation.
Yes,
and it's
yes.
so perfect. These characters are violent, bloodthirsty, messy, and
But they're
and
excited
horrific.
about it.
But they're super psyched about it. They're super psyched about each other. They're always supporting each other, and it's beautiful to see. And everyone, when you talk about there's another thing in improv, which is status, and like everyone looks at Jack Skellington with moons in their eyes.
Right, exactly. And yeah, you're exactly right. Like I think there's even a lyric in one of the songs where they say, "But we're not mean," you know, just to make it very clear. It's like, by the way, we're not mean. We're walking around being scary and weird, but we're not mean. Yeah, and it's almost strange now that this has kind of been adopted into like the mainstream Disney canon. Like it has the Disney logo in front of it now instead of the touchstone, because this feels so antithetical to so many Disney movies in so many ways, not just in the look and the tone, but like the Jack as a character is such an asshole. Like he's so charming, but here's the thing:
Jack.
doesn't
So
listen
I
to
have
women.
I have a theory about
Yeah.
this. Jack is the quintessential white man.
he is. He's so white, he's just
He
bone.
thinks he could be an expert at something that he just saw once.
And he learns nothing in this movie. He
When-
learns nothing.
And when he fails, he's all like, "Oh well, I did my best."
Yeah, he
Just
gets more
shrugs it off.
defiant. Like he has one brief moment where he's like allowing some self-reflection, and then he gets defiant. He's like, "No, I did my best. Fuck you. I am the king."
I did my best, and at least I got the girl at the end.
Right. Yeah, he learns nothing.
Yeah.
And as we see in the game, like the game takes place 1 year later. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to try and do Christmas again. Like I've learned nothing." You know, so... And yeah, exactly right. There's a female character that's just kind of hovering around the periphery of this movie that he just ignores. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not that he
No,
dislikes her.
no, he doesn't ignore Sally. He treats her like a townsperson.
Yeah.
He's under no obligation to fancy someone, and I like that Jack is a little blind to romance.
Yes.
Until the very end, he's all like, "Oh crap, romance exists."
It's
just like he sees Christmas exists. All of a sudden,
But-
he's like, "Romance exists."
Yeah, yeah.
And this is something that I don't remember. Does he ever acknowledge the fact that she was correct in trying to warn him?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's
yes.
good.
He does.
That's
yeah.
good.
I mean, he gets away with it because he's not malicious asshole, but he is just kind of like selfish and self-absorbed, and he's got this kind of celebrity god king status in this town where everybody just fawns over him, but he is just so unhappy. Like he's got all the success in the world and he just doesn't feel anything.
Well, and I think that's fair. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like his unhappiness is fair because, like, I feel like one of the reasons why this movie connects so well is because that dissatisfaction he has with Halloween Town is sort of like a part of human dissatisfaction with people's lives when things are going good. And, like, when things
Yeah.
are going good, sometimes you're like, what else is out there? And also, like, sometimes you need a change.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this is, like, the Halloween version of Eat, Pray, Love.
Sure. Yeah. They're going on a spirit quest or something, you know. They're going-
No, he does.
Yeah. No, he does. He's exploring and he's trying to like find something new. And like, yeah, I do love the sequence in. I mean, again, you talk about how lived in this world is, and I love that they have the confidence with this movie to just like let it exist. We do not need 10 minutes explaining the backstory of the guy who's melting all the time. We don't need to have a side plot with the clown with the tearaway face. These are just people who live in the town. We get their deal at the sight of them. Like, that's all we need. We get to see them and we understand their deal.
Yeah.
And we don't get bogged down in the rules. Like, I don't have the reaction to this movie that I do with the Cars movies because this movie is so patently uninterested in explaining itself. Because if you're applying the same logic to it, it's like, okay, what do they do all year? Like, what is the
They
ecosystem?
prepare for Halloween.
Like, who is Jack in the context of this world? Like, what do they do?
The mayor loses his shit when he can't find Jack the day after Halloween.
Exactly, yeah.
He's
yeah.
like, oh my God, what are we going to do for Halloween without him? We're so screwed. And it's just like, I just went for a walk.
yeah, calm down,
Like,
dude. I'm just, yeah, exactly. I do like that bit of, but again, it's just like, who is he in this town? If like it's making a comment about the ineptitude of the bureaucracy, but like there's a bureaucracy in this town, like, but and then you think about what's happening in every other tree. Like, is Easterland the secular Easter, or is it the Easter Bunny, or the
Well,
or the
it's
religious
Easter
Easter?
Bunny. It definitely exists there.
Right? They definitely. Oh yeah, you're right. We do capture we see the Easter Bunny in this
so
movie.
it's really interesting. I love. So Sally is such an interesting character. She's like mooning over Jack, but she's also trying to prevent Jack from being like. And it's so funny because Jack goes into Christmas like agenda explaining it with a pure heart. He's like, he wants to explain how Christmas is, but 3 minutes into his constituents talking about like twisting everything about Christmas, he's all like, fuck it, let's give them what they want. So he's definitely a showman.
He is.
And he has like this, like, he is so he's self-aggrandizing.
Yeah.
But Sally
He even says at one point, I might as well give them what they want.
Yeah.
You know, like, and he starts changing his pitch. Like, it's not just about the magic of Christmas. Now it's like, oh, he's not Santa Claus. He's Sandy Claus. You know, because and that's one of my favorite songs in the movie, just because, like, the crowd is just so not getting it. To the point, like, he's explaining Christmas. It's like, oh, did it have to do with the severed head I found in the lake? Like, what's going on? Like, they just don't get it. They're so, like, locked into their worldview. It's really fun.
Is there a pox in the box?
There's a pox in the box, yeah.
which songs are your favorite? I think mine is What's This? I really love What's This.
I like that. I think Jack's Lament.
Jack's Lament.
Is that what it's called?
It is.
The one where he's on the spiral mountain in the beginning. I love that song so much.
I have an interesting point of view because I have listened to the Nightmare Revisited soundtrack way more than seeing.
Oh, so you've heard the Fall Out Boy versions and the Marilyn Manson versions.
And
like,
so I have
oh.
a sweet spot for Making Christmas.
Okay.
Because that was done by Rise Against, a band that I thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah.
And so, but then, was it What's This?
Yeah.
That one, when I was watching the movie, I was like, oh, I like this one.
Yeah.
So, like, from watching the movie, that's the one that I like the most. But then, like, I have that relationship with Making Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I this movie is so economical in the way that it rolls out. Like I said, it's 80 minutes long. And we get a whole complete story arc with lots of great little visual flourishes. I just love the montage sequence of, like, the two different towns preparing for their big holiday and, like, you know, the different approaches to everything. And then when they go out into the real world, I like that it's still kind of, like, weird and dark. Like, everything's
It's super dark and it's actually quite violent.
Yeah.
Like, and they have surface to air ballistics.
they shoot him out of the sky.
They have anti-aircraft guns, and it's just wild.
I didn't find this movie scary when I was a kid, but the one thing that almost kind of got me was the snake eating the tree. For whatever reason, like, the kid just standing there screaming while the snake is slowly eating the tree used to freak me out.
I've always loved Tim Burton's snakes. Like, he has the same snake in like 12 movies.
It's great. Yeah, no, the Beetlejuice, like, sandworm or whatever. Yeah, it's a great design.
But let's talk about Oogie Boogie.
The great Ken Page, R.I.P. He was a Broadway legend, has this incredible voice, and this is probably my single favorite character design in the movie. That or either the melting guy, or I don't even know what you call him. You know, he's got, like, the squid head, and he's the one who beats the rat with the mallet.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's called, but I love that design.
He's one of the members of Slipknot.
Oh, he is. Yes. He's Sean Clown. Yes. But yeah, no, Oogie Boogie is an incredible design. the scene where he gets his burlap sack ripped off and we see he's made entirely of bugs is quietly one of the most impressive pieces of animation ever. Apparently, the way they got this done was that basically anytime an animator had a free moment, they got put on bug duty. So it's like, oh, okay, you're done with this scene? All right, we're still setting up for the other one. Why don't you go animate a couple bugs?
It's like something that always, I don't know why, but the first time anybody ever said to me, there's always work for you to be done around here, was at a grocery store where legitimately there wasn't.
Yeah.
And so it's like the thing of like, there's always work that be done around here. It's like, I'll wipe down something that was wiped down yesterday that doesn't need wiped down multiple days in a row.
Do you have time to lean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have time to lean, you've got time to clean.
Yeah.
But then here it's like, you've got time to do anything? Bug duty, Buster. Get in there. Play with some bugs.
Exactly. I mean, because all of those bugs are like individually animated and like the
true nightmare
Oh,
must
yeah.
have been managing that scene.
Oh, it must have been so hard. I think it did take up like a huge chunk.
Especially for like consistency and like, oh.
And that whole scene, that big climactic showdown in Oogie's Palace with like this casino-like booby trap. I remember watching this as a kid and thinking, why is there not a video game of this?
Yeah.
Like, why is there not a video game of this exact moment, and how cool would it be? And why is it taking so long for them to make this game? And it was weird that there wasn't actually, because like we said in a previous episode, this was the era when if you made a movie and it was from a major studio, you probably got a video game, unless you're like Remains of the Day or something.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting a video game. And it's strange that this one took so long to materialize. But I love that sequence. I love like the viscerality of like his burlap getting ripped off on that spinning blade thing
with Santa Claus being restrained, and it's like, oh, so he's in Santa Claus is in peril.
Yeah.
And I love the design of Santa Claus on this. I love how it's both completely traditional and completely not traditional, with his little like long flowing tunic.
Yeah. And I love that Santa Claus and Jack Skellington leave on bad terms. Santa's not like forgiving at the end of this. He's like, you motherfuckers kidnapped me and I almost ruined my big day.
He wasn't that bent. He was nowhere near as bent out of shape out of it as I would have been.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, he has a little moment where he flies overhead at the end and says Merry Christmas, and they have the nice little
He gives him
whatever.
Gives him snow.
But that's as far as he's going.
Well, I think it's because he's realized that he's forgotten to give gifts to Halloween Town for a long time.
He's like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, these guys. Yeah, right.
It's odd too. None of the other towns seem to be aware that they exist. You know, like, so it's odd because you know it seems to be a forest just outside of town. Like, it's not very far. But yeah,
We don't leave town.
it's true. Yeah, we don't leave town.
We love Halloween too much.
Hiking wasn't invented.
It was not. Thank God. I mean,
Who
all the
needs
hiking would just be
cardio?
up spiral mountains. You know, like it would be like you don't need to
I always
hike
think
because the
it's
mountains
really
unfold
funny
for you.
Because like I always like, I feel like you should be a hiker, but I feel like you hate hiking.
I deeply hate hiking, and I think it's just maybe some contrarian bent in me or whatever. My parents moved us to Colorado, like deep in the mountains, specifically to turn us into like outdoorsy kids. Like, they made my sister take horseback riding lessons because they were sure she was going to be a horse girl. They made me go to like outdoor shit all the time and make me go hiking because
Did you
they were
have to join the
sure I
Boy
would like it.
Scouts?
I never did, thank God. But no, I almost rebelliously, I'm like, no, I like movies and
Who's
video
the
games and I want to
most
stay inside.
hiking person here?
I mean, actually, it might be me, just because I've been taken on many hikes, and I did the whole hike to Machu Picchu, like 4 days through the Andes. Like, that's
You've been on that big Boy
huge.
Scout
Yeah,
hike.
I went to Philmont. I hiked a mountain once.
But do y'all ever do it for pleasure? Like, I don't.
I want to.
I do easy hikes. Like I like long walks.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I like a walk.
I like a long walk. I don't want to have to pee outside.
Oh, that's where we differ.
Yeah,
that's where we
it's so
differ.
nice.
I have a long rap sheet explaining just why different we are.
And it is all related to peeing outside.
Sir, this is a Chili's. Get out of here. Yeah. This is all not true, by the way. Yeah, but I mean, it's
Oh, last night it was brilliant. I went to a comic at the Paramount, which is a big 1,200 seat theater in Austin, and the comic was sort of lent. Was a lady, and her comedy really leaned towards lady comedy, and so they
What's her
took
name?
the Sarah Millican.
Okay, yeah, I know her.
And they took all the upstairs bathrooms and made them female bathrooms.
Fun.
So we
wait,
had,
did they put couches in men's room finally?
no, but it was Paramount, so it wasn't a bad one. But like it was really funny
the
because
other
like
way around.
the man sitting next to me was like. The line for the bathroom was so long, and I was like, "Ha ha ha, motherfucker!"
Yeah. Enjoy that.
They need to do that at the fucking Bass Concert Hall when My Favorite Murder is playing.
so
I do. This is all hyper local Austin stuff, but I do not understand how the bathroom system works in that building. It's like men's room are on one floor, women's room are on another floor. Or like it's all over the place.
I just remember that on our way down, we passed the men's room, and it was a ghost town. And then we're like, is this the merch line? No, it's the bathroom line. All right.
Fair. Yeah, there you go.
Wild.
We should talk about the video games a little bit here. Do we have any final thoughts on the movie before we move on?
Love it.
Love it. It's great. It's a blast. Not as much of a blast is A Nightmare Before Christmas, OOGIE'S Revenge, which was released October 10th, 2005, and it's developed by Buena Vista Games, published by Capcom, and it's released on PS2 and Xbox. Like I said, I am surprised at how long it took to make a video game based on the Nightmare Before Christmas, because I think it's a pretty seamless transition. Like, it's already a very distinctive art style. You don't need to worry about realism or anything like that. You can animate all of these in sprite form and have them look great. So I feel like this should have been like an early Sega Genesis game, and instead it took 12 whole years for a game based on this to materialize. I think some of it was the franchise needed a little time to cook, like it was a solid success when it came out, but it wasn't like this runaway theatrical hit, so you can understand why they wouldn't want to throw too much money at it. But as it developed its fan base over time and just kind of got adopted into the canon, people started to realize how much goddamn money there is in A Nightmare Before Christmas. So in 2005, on the exact same day, we get two rather different video games from two very different developers. And the first one we're talking about, OOGIE'S Revenge. This is kind of the closest we're ever going to get to a sequel to Nightmare Before Christmas. At least I hope that's the case.
I don't think they're going to make a sequel to
They
Nightmare Before
floated
Christmas.
the idea a couple of times, and there were a couple of different thoughts that they were going into it. And then I think the most recent news from both Tim Burton and Henry Selick was like, no, we want to leave it as it is.
I think they missed out on having a 90s style animated TV show. I could see an animated TV show about this, like from the 90s, but I can't see an actual sequel.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. There was a Beetlejuice show and that worked, but so you could animate it in kind of that style. But yeah, I feel like you'd be missing out on the stop motion of it all. But
I will say, if you are going to pick one character from The Nightmare Before Christmas to focus a game around, Oogie Boogie's a pretty good choice.
Look, yeah, absolutely. He's a great heavy, and
he's also one of the few characters to have dimension, even if it's not super deep.
No, he's a gambler.
But he's interesting.
Yeah.
Whereas most of the characters are either Santa Claus, Sandy, not Sandy. What's her name? Sally.
Sally.
Jack Skellington, or just people who really like Halloween.
Yeah. I think there's a whole lot of potential in a video game form of this that lets you like explore Halloween Town, lets you get to know the characters, stuff like that.
So
or gets you really annoyed at the layout of Halloween Town.
We went in wanting to like this game.
Yeah.
And the artwork is fantastic for 2005.
This game looks great.
The game looks fantastic. The set design looks fantastic. But there's just like, you start off straight into a boss battle.
Right.
Like a really annoying boss battle. And you have like this slimy arm throwing thing.
Yeah, it's called a soul robber, and you know that because Jack yells it every time you press the Y button.
Pretty much.
Soul robber, soul robber. And yeah, it's basically just a little weapon for you to go around and smash stuff together with. This is from Capcom, and they are using a similar engine to what they used with the Devil May Cry games, which were very popular action games at the time. This is kind of like a dumbed-down version of that, much slower, much less intricate, and there are fewer opportunities for like cool combos. But they're going with like this action beat-em-up thing. And yeah,
you have to hit the Skellies 9 times before they die.
It takes so long.
And you don't have that many attacks.
And I think the systems at play here, like you look at this game and you see how cool it looks, and like you tell me it's like an action platformer, and I'm like, okay, I'm on board. Like, this sounds kind of fun. There's just a disconnect when you sit down to actually play it. That's kind of hard to describe. Like, it just feels stiff. It feels clumsy, and the systems behind it are poorly explained. It's not a complicated game, and yet it still somehow feels complicated.
Unlike our other property, Nightmare Before Christmas, Pumpkin King?
Pumpkin King, yeah, released for the Game Boy Advance on the exact same day, but this one is from a developer called Toze, and it's published by Buena Vista Games. And this one is a 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania game. I think both of them are telling original stories, like kind of taking place in the aftermath of the first movie. The story in the Game Boy Advance game is obviously a little less prominent than it is in the Xbox version, but it's a classic Metroidvania in the sense that you need to explore the map and you need to find new items to unlock next portions of the map, and you get all these cool special abilities that grow with you as you progress through the game. It is a formula that I find infinitely addicting. I think I played so many bad Metroidvania games just because there's that itch being scratched, you know? I'm building out a map and I'm getting stronger and I'm like moving through the world, like, and I'm exploring. I love exploring in games and finding hidden secrets and all of that stuff. So this is catnip for me.
Yeah, like the Game Boy game or Game Boy Advance game was fantastic. It was really fun to play. The Oogie Boogie's Revenge was more cinematic.
Yeah.
But it also had a problem with having... they should have had more filler music, because what they did was they ended up having tiny clips of music from the from Nightmare Before Christmas and playing it because it became incredibly repetitive.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, I love this song. I've just listened to one section of it 27 times.
And then specifically, that first boss battle that we were referring to is against Shadow Oogie Boogie.
Right.
And it took time. Like, it wasn't quick. And I think that maybe the little rhythm game they make you play whenever you get your meter filled up is supposed to be more useful than it was for us, just because of trying to figure out the UI of it.
It was confusing, right? Yeah, like in the middle of this boss fight. So, okay, and this is also a problem that the very few video games that have tried to be musicals run into this problem, where you just have a very short sample of music and you're going to hear it over and over again. So in the course of this Oogie Boogie boss fight, we had to hear the song 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
Because it was weirdly difficult to do any damage to him. The game's not really explaining the mechanics to you. It's just when you whack him enough, he drops musical notes, which charges up a special meter. And when that meter is full, you go into a rhythm action mini game that kind of comes up really quickly. And if you fuck it up, then you have to start all over.
And this was like a 5 to 10 minute endeavor.
Yeah.
And we heard that song like 7 times.
It just kept coming up. And and all the song is just songs from the movies, but with the lyrics changed around to be about like the current game. So it's still the same melody that we know. They're just changing the lyrics. And in most of the cases, it's not the actual voice artist. You know, Ken Page is Oogie Boogie. He's back. Chris Sarandon is back. Paul Rubens is in here. But most of the other voices are different. There's no Danny Elfman on singing. There's none of the musicians have returned. And it's very noticeable because every time you go into a battle, you have to hear the beginning of This Is Halloween like over and over and over again, which also not a good fight song.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bup, bup, bup. Like it's a slower paced song. So it's just kind of a weird pull to make us listen to that over and over. Yeah, a really frustrating miss. Because I feel like this lends itself so well to being a game. And this game looks like it has all the elements. I think you're right. The Game Boy Advance one is the much more playable and enjoyable experience.
In the Oogie Boogie's Revenge, later on in the game, you get to switch between Santa Jack and the Pumpkin King.
Yeah.
But it's still like not that much variety in the attacks, and
Not
so it's
really.
sort of, and because each enemy takes so many times hit to die, it becomes wildly repetitive.
Yeah, and then also again, every time you do like the heavy attack button, you just soul grabber or whatever over and over and over again.
Yeah.
and it makes you hate the man.
Yeah, no, it's difficult to hear those same like audio clips recycled over and
It
over
makes
again.
me wonder if that is the least recorded and most used line in history.
Oh, I mean, there's got to
Like
be
there's,
more.
I mean,
What
there's
about
probably
Falcon
some,
Punch?
but
Falcon Punch?
but do they re-record that for the newer games?
I don't know. Yeah, I have no
Good
idea.
question.
But-
But anyways, man, do you hear that a ton? And yeah, there's only like 2 combo moves you can do, so it's not the game isn't super engaging. And so, like I said, one of the things that makes it frustrating is that like the bones are there, and they just needed more time to bake to really make something interesting
And like
and fun.
we were talking about how the plot is kind of intentionally threadbare, and it's just sort of used to string together the musical scenes. And in this game, I think it's doing the opposite. I think it's very lazy sort of recreations of the musical scenes being used to string together a plot that is too much. You know, it's saying too much. It's explaining too much. Like, the appeal of so much of this movie is vibes. And I think this has the look right, but I think the vibes are off, you know?
Yeah, and it's like the gist of the game is that Oogie Boogie has been revived and like all the doors have been stolen. So you're trying to get all the doors back and stop Oogie Boogie. And you can only go to Christmas Town.
Again, a big missed opportunity, because that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see what's going on in these other worlds, and I feel like a video game lends itself to it so perfectly, and they didn't stick it.
Yeah, and it's just, lame.
Well, I think we've said about all we can say about this franchise. So let's move on to our final rankings so we can all go to bed. Is this a good movie, good game, a bad movie, bad game, or some mixture in between? I'm going to start us off this week. I think this is a great movie. I deeply enjoy this movie. I think it's kind of a magic trick, and I don't know why. I think it's a movie we take for granted a little bit because it's become so popular, and it's like such an annual favorite. It's always kind of there. We always kind of take for granted how difficult it must have been to make this, how singular and original a vision it is, and just kind of how cool and how different it is from anything else out there. So I really enjoy this movie. And these games are near misses. The Xbox game is kind of a slog. Like I said, I don't think it really captures the vibe of the movie at all. And the Game Boy Advance one, I think, is much better. It's nicely animated. It's got a good Metroidvania kind of structure to it. And my only problem with it is that I've hit a wall with it where I just don't know where to go. Like, I've explored everything I can go, and the map is not great. So that's a knock against it. J-Bam, where do you come down?
So bad.
This movie is a classic. It is a great movie. You got to do Tony the Tiger. Great. It's great. Spectacular, original. Loved it. Love it. I think it will be continuing like into our 80s. This movie will be continuing on. And it'll have new generations going forth, just like it has new generations now. I think the game is okay.
Yeah.
Like a sad okay.
It's
and
an unfortunate miss.
like 'cause the artwork's really good. So I was playing it and I was like really like annoyed with the stupidity of the play, but I was like, I get to go around Halloween Town and I get to listen to this music, and then the music just kept repeating.
And all the doors were locked.
And all the doors were locked. It was like not very intuitive. And then I think the Game Boy Advance game is really fun. It's very varied, and there's a lot of different things to do with it. So it was really fun. So I think my ranking is great, sad okay, and good.
All right. Great, sad, okay, good. Yeah. Where are you coming down, Justin?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good movie, especially if you're into that. Again, not really my cup of tea. Still a fine movie.
Is there no holiday movie that you love?
You like Die Hard?
I like that.
Yeah.
I think we've established that one in my history.
Any
Die Hard's
Arbor
pretty
Day,
high up
any
there.
big Arbor Day movies that you go for? Any Earth Day movies? The Lorax, big Lorax guy.
No, not really. My sister loved Elf, and I
You hated Elf, yeah, we
did
remember
not
that.
like Elf.
Yeah,
So yeah, if you like holiday movies, it's fun. Definitely, you can respect the amount of work that went into it.
Yeah.
Because they ended up with a very good movie, a very well-made movie. So shout out to all of the people, all of the hundreds of people that had to work on this movie to make it finish. And the games, I forgot there was a Game Boy being passed around because I was so annoyed with Halloween Town.
yeah, you were battling through that one. Yeah.
And so the Oogie's Revenge, I think technically, is very mediocre. I think I was looking at the ratings, and all the ratings were like, 2.5 stars out of 5 type of thing.
Yeah, that's really accurate. Like you can't. Yeah, this does enough right where you're like, oh yeah, it's kind of compelling, but like it's also pretty just boring to play. Yeah,
like if you were a kid when the game came out, maybe it would have been fun.
Yeah, if this was your only game. In
However,
the house,
it's such an awkward timing to have a game that would only really be fun for kids come out 7 years, 10 years,
12 years. 12
What
years later.
what they did was,
Because it was
is that
2004,
they
2005,
around that time they kept re-releasing it to theaters. They ended up having the box office being like 108 or 120 million dollars because of the re-releases on a
Okay.
budget of 18. But that was like re-releasing numerous times.
That might lead to why I thought this movie came out easily a decade after it did, because for me, I remember it being like on TV a bunch,
Right.
And as if it was something that had come out more recently, and so, yeah,
Yeah.
just awkward timing to release a game that the original target market has
It
fully
was
moved
funny
on
when you
from.
said awkward. I was like, yeah, this is an awkward moment.
It's an awkward moment.
Awkward moment.
It's an awkward moment. Well, it wasn't until you said something. I was very comfortable. All right, everybody.
I just
well,
work here.
Thank you all for listening. We're going to be doing an entire month of holiday favorites.
Whoa.
So buckle up, Justin.
I'm
and you know
so
what?
excited.
Justin, I think our subject next week is going to agree with you because we are talking about How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And this is the 2000 Jim Carrey version, which I have seen one time only because I hated it. So let's see if my opinion has changed on this movie. It has been 25 years since I've revisited it, so maybe there's something there. But we're going to be talking about How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and then we're going to be playing a Dreamcast game, which we haven't had in a little bit. So, yeah, we're going to be covering both. So, yeah, a whole month of Christmas favorites. We will see you for the Grinch next week. Bye, everybody.